Cloud. Awesome. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit live stream. Start now. No, sign later. Live on Facebook. Brandon, you have a good morning?
Yes, sir.
Brandon, you and Don are going to talk a lot. I know you are.
Looking forward to it, Neil.
Good job. All right, here we go. We're cooking up. We're getting connected to Facebook Live. We're getting connected to the recording. Good things are happening. Thomas, did you get that bridge built?
It's a long-winded project, but we're working on it. It's coming.
I love it. All right, very good. All right, everybody. Don Aldrich. Don and I go back so far, it was even way before MasterMind with Neil Schwartz. In fact, Don, you reminded me that you were in my first group of coaching
Yep.
that I did for Mike Ferry back in, what was it, 95, 96?
Oh, before then. Before then. I
Wow.
think it was like 92. And, and I'll just say, who's ever on this call, you have a great coach and mentor here. Neil, I was blessed to have you and Tim Wood, Tony DeCello, Ron Patulski. I was blessed to have some great coaches who are legendary, and you were one of them. So, folks, you may not know some of those names, but you do know Neil Schwartz, and you've got a great coach, a mentor, and a friend who just wants your success. So thank you to you, Neil. Thanks for reconnecting.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You have 3 more hours. Keep going.
I could do it. I could do it.
Hey, good job, buddy. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. So why don't you start off this afternoon with just a little real estate history, your real estate history. Where do you work now? Where did you get started? How did you connect up with all these crazy people?
I started back in 1986. I started in the southeast area of Phoenix, if you will. I'm now in Scottsdale, but after 39 years, folks, of knocking on thousands and thousands of doors, as Neil knows, I work the entire Phoenix metro area. So I'm still willing to drive an hour. If you've got a referral that's 60 miles away, that's still Phoenix. I'm happy to help somebody that you may serve. So, I went to, I did go to, I was seeking out education. I went to Floyd Wickman and Tommy Hopkins and Howard Brinton, and I mean, name them, right? I went to see them. By the way, Neil, about 5 years ago, I knocked on Tommy Hopkins' door in this ranch, and I have since met him, thanked him, brought him here for a podcast. You never know when you knock on. I wonder if that's the same Tommy Hopkins. It is. Anyway.
You never know who you're going to meet on those doors, do you?
You do not know. I saw the tax register. I said, nah, well, he's from Scottsdale, maybe. And turned out it was. So at any rate, it took me a couple of years before I found some guy named Mike Ferry, who I said, I think I need to. This is back when like Karen Bernardi was doing and Joan Pate were doing 50 deals a year. I'm like, okay, that's where I want to be. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how I came to meet Neil Schwartz. And so I was one of the first 50 one-on-one clients. And gosh, I was coached probably in that organization for 20 years.
Wow.
So
you're very coachable and you're a pleasure and you have a lot of great things that you work on and you think about this business a lot. We had lost touch over the years, and I don't even know what put us together. I would say, I talk about this all the time. You have to be curious in this business. You just have to be curious. And there's things like knowing and meeting and talking to Don, who he and Tim, Don had moved to Tim Wood at the time, and together they created this amazing approach to for sale by owners, which is an approach I still teach today.
Mhm.
Okay. And one of the things I wanted Don to talk about was his approach to for sale by owners. And even though at the time there was way more for sale by owners in his world,
Right.
he still feels very strongly that if that program is focused on, money can be made from it. So I wanted him to talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about a new program that he's working on. But you know what I found with him is the same story. When you're focused, you're consistent, you're committed, and you do what you're supposed to do on a regular basis, great things happen, right, Don?
Yeah, that one of your questions was, what's a superpower? And I said, well, that's easy. That's focus on consistency. It's time over task. Action equals results. You got to embrace the daily grind. I have it in the back of my door. You cannot cheat the daily grind. You cannot cheat the daily grind. You just consistency, focus on being consistent. And if you do it enough, guess what? After 39 years, things start working. Hopefully, it won't take you guys that long.
Well, most people are not in it for what we call the long haul. They
Right.
want the short fix. Boy, if I have to do this more than 39 days, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I hope you're my competition at the table.
Yeah, exactly. So, tell us a little bit about the development of the program, the for sale by owners that you
Sure.
were working on.
So, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, they used to have these things called a newspaper, right? And
Yeah.
in the Sunday newspaper back then, gosh, back in the 80s, we'd have 3 pages of FSBOs, 3 pages of ads. I used to go through those, cut them out, put them on an index card, and start calling. Right? There were no CRMs or computers, and started to go to see
There
them.
was no services.
No,
There was no Zillow, no LinkedIn.
no. It was just, hi, are you? And you don't even know the address. Hi, are you the owner of the home for sale? Well, yes, I am. Great. My name's Don Aldrich. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate, and I was just curious, is it still for sale? Yes, it is. Are you working with real estate agents? Well, maybe, or yes, or no. One of the first questions I'd say is, great. So, if you can, if we brought you a buyer for $100,000, would you pay a fee? Right? I didn't say 3%. Would you pay a fee? Yes, I would. I'll pay you 3%. I'll pay you 2%. Whatever they said, I'm not going to pay you anything. Okay. But if I get the buyer to pay the fee, would you still sell it for $100,000? Yeah. Great. When can I come out and see you? I mean, that was kind of the basic script. I just pulled that out of thin air, Neil. Haven't done that in a long time. And I would just go out and see them and develop a rapport. And guess what? Another F word. Focus, follow up. The power, the money is in the follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. And so with Tim, we were working with this, and then you knew Tim, Neil, and Tim said, I don't want you going home until you talk to 3 buy owners a day. I'm like, a day? Which means I really had to go on the hunt, right? And here's where it changed a little bit. I might see 1 buy owner a day, maybe not, maybe 5 a week, maybe 8 a week. I don't really remember. But he said, you can't go home until you physically talk to 3 buy owners at the door. Well, guess what? That kind of changed my perspective. It got heightened. My conversations got better. And here's the big thing. If it was 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I still need that 1 more buy owner, and I had them all mapped out. I mean, I'm ringing that bell with a difference, saying, please be home. So I don't care if you slam the door in my face, be home so I can go home, versus, oh, I hope nobody answers. There's a that's a mental shift, right?
Totally. So the deal was you had to talk to 3, not just go knock 3.
They had to open the door. Yeah. And by the way, I was still calling many of them during the day. That was the focus. But I physically had to be face to face, even if they, that counts. Thank you. Right. And in that program, over the course of a year, maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter, I think I saw like 400 and something by owners. He did give me Christmas Day off. Thank you, Tim. And I think we ended up selling like 65 by owners, like in 1 year, or 14 or 15,
Wow.
or maybe it was 15, 18 months. The bottom line,
Yeah.
it was more than I would have done myself.
Yeah, I heard it was 50 in 12 months, but if it's 65 and 18, what the
I
heck?
don't remember, but it was more than I would have done.
Uh-huh.
So, and Neil and I were just talking. Even I got a call on August 20th. I'm sorry, August 10th. And my wife was like, I was at a for sale by owner, probably 20 miles from home. And my wife called me and said, you have to come home. My water broke. And I did
But
come
this
home.
was, what year was that?
95. That's when my,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
wait a
This
minute. No, my
wasn't
daughter
this
was
year.
98. 98.
Yeah.
Because my daughter was born in 1998. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I was even on a FISBO. Hey, my wife might be really pregnant at home, but I got to go do my job. But when that call came in, I didn't say, yeah, after I get to 3, I went home.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That was another part of what you reminded me of, which is you were doing a decent job, maybe more than a decent job. You were to do 50, 60 closings on for sale by owners in Tempe, Arizona. And your wife came home after she had the baby and everybody was healthy and kind of gave you an ultimatum. She said she wanted to be near the grandparents.
Correct.
However, the grandparents didn't live that far away.
Nope.
They were what, 20 miles away?
Maybe.
Yeah, but they were in a completely different area. He went from Tempe, Arizona, which is not a fabulous marketplace in general. It's okay, but not great.
Yeah.
To Scottsdale, which is one of the greatest places you can find to live in America. And with all of how did you do that? The nose thing?
In Scottsdale, and that's where my office is now. It's also known as Scottsdale. Even Einstein behind me, keeps reminding me you're not the smartest guy in the room. But it's known as, Snotsdale. And I was intimidated because I didn't know the area. I didn't know the people. I thought the agents were all rich, and I was just intimidated by the price ranges and all that, because my average price range, ladies and gentlemen, was probably like 120,000, right? And I do remember kind of a turning point. Maybe a year after I'd been up here, I called Maureen and said, no, I'm going to be a little late coming home. I've got an appointment with a seller, and it's a $400,000 sale. And I kind of just said it like it was normal. And she caught me and said, did you hear what you just said? 400,000 used to be like $10 million to you. Now it's like the norm, right? That was 20 something years ago. And what I didn't say to you earlier, Neil, is those doors I knock 20 years ago in this master plan community, it was an $8,000 knock. Now it's $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 a knock. Because prices have tripled.
Prices have tripled, and you took advantage of it.
Why not? So,
well, I know a lot of agents that didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. Okay, so you moved to another area. You were intimidated. What'd you do? Like preview a few houses or something first?
Yes. So where we ended up moving to, we were right across the street from a master plan community of 4,000 homes. It's got homes on the water. They don't make those anymore in Arizona, right? It's not a natural lake, right? But it had homes on the water. 1-bedroom condos to homes on big acreage, 5,000 square feet, gated, guarded, not gated, some of them back to the desert. It basically has had every type of home that you could want. And there's about 2,600 doors in there that I could get to, because I don't knock on the gates. I don't knock on the guard gate. I get chased out. I learned that lesson. But there's 2,600 doors. So I previewed a couple homes, so I knew what I was talking about. And then I whipped up some type of brochure, and I'd go to a door and say, and at that point, I didn't even know your name. Hi, sir. Your neighbor down the street has your home for sale, and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's on the market at and I couldn't even say it, $480,000. Who do you know that would like to move in? By the way, when do you plan on moving? Right? It was that old conversation.
Same scripts that you were using then, you're using now, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I took a listing, and guess what? It sold. And I was like, that worked. Maybe I ought to try it again. So now I had my own listing that sold. Hi, I just sold the property on Ironwood. I still remember the street, because I knock on that door today, right? And took another listing, and basically, as I went around the map of the neighborhood, I might take a listing here, but by the time I got here, it sold. And then I go up here. It was kind of like just mowing the lawn or shoveling snow, which we don't know about, but it's just rinse and repeat. And so, as I said, those doors back then, those houses were 400 and a big one was 500. On the water might have been a little more, right? But now the average home in there is $1 million and more. So, why not, right? Same script. And I do believe, as we said earlier, going to all those cold doors, FISBOing, gave me the skills and confidence to go up, because there's doors now where I still haven't met people, or they've moved in and they don't know me. So it's a cold door, or it's a really warm door now. Hey, Don, good to see you again. I know who you are. And Neil, it takes me at 20 doors a day. Yes, even in the heat, folks, and we're hotter than you are, even in the heat, early morning, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10. The goal is 20 doors a day. And typically, I got my numbers. It's 38% open rate. And it doesn't matter what time I go, what day I go. Now in the winter, obviously I can go any day, all day, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Summertime, I got to be out there and I got to be done by 11, because after that, it's brutal, right?
It's brutal.
But here's a lesson. So in the past, I've been in and out of doing that, right? Not for a long time out, but I never was. I would kind of take a hiatus in the summer, right? Just took a lot out of me. But I set a goal with my coaches today, or earlier this year, and said, no. First of all, nobody door knocks. Nobody, and I mean that. Nobody. As I talk to people at the door, well, gee, how many? You've lived here 20 years. How many people have knocked on your door? You're it. I mean, I get that. That true. Nobody does it, and nobody sends them handwritten thank you notes. So that's the niche, right? So I'm now embracing that. Okay, I want to be I'm right now one of 5 or 6 agents that sells 5 or 6 homes in there a year. The other 105 or 110 homes that sell in there a year are done by one agent. That's their only deal in that ranch for the year. So my goal of 10xing this thing is to get 20 of those onesies. And then that's 25 transactions just in that community. And that's 25 million sales volume right there. But here's how you do it. Is like the other day, it was a little warm. I got to the 10th door and I went 0 for 9. I'm like, I'm going to get shut out here. First time in history, Neil. I don't take shutouts. You're not going to no-hit me. I'm going to get a hit. The 10th one was a widower who I didn't know was a widower, but I'd met him before. He didn't remember me. So now I'm 1 out of 10. So I've met my quota. I could quit. I'm like, it's already hot. It's not that bad. I'm a little wet. 6 out of the next 10 doors were home. So I got to 7, 8 people that day because I did the extra 10.
It was interesting when we were talking about this, because this is all mindset, everybody. This is all mindset and little changes. Um, Don said to me, well, it gets hot for 4 months of the year, and most people give up. He said, I had 2 closings. What'd you have, 50, 60,000 in 2 closings?
Income to me in April was $60,000, 61,000 and change from 2 listings, people I'd known for years. They both happened to list within 3 days of each other. They both sold like 2 days later. They each had 4 offers. So now I had something to say, hey, I just listed these 2 properties. We had 8 offers. I had 6 buyers I couldn't help. Who do you know that, right?
Right.
But that was April, and I'm like, do I really want to do this through the summer? I'm like, you idiot. $61,000 for 2 doors. And it was a coincidence, right? But it was 20 years of knocking on the door and being consistent. They knew me. I'm like, all right, why do I want to give that up? Let's just do 10 doors a day for 4 months. That's 800 doors. I'm going to get some business out of that. I'm going to. And I've actually been doing almost 20 doors a day anyway, just mindset. And Neil, I have a closing today that is 1.3 from knocking on the door. And the guy's been difficult to work with, but it's closing. But while I sat that open, I took a $1.7 million listing and buyers walked in. Remember at the beginning of the call, I said I just sold a 1.3. They walked in on an open house and I sold them a bunch of homes on Saturday and we sold it for 1.3. So that one house with his fee, with the listing that's going to sell at some point, and they're a buyer as well. I mean, that's 4 transactions. Right now, that one house is well over $50,000 or $60,000 from, and it does take me about 4 months to do the whole circuit. So 3 times a year.
So you're working every day. You're working a similar area. I'm assuming that you shop in the area and bank in the area and get your haircuts in the area.
Yeah.
That's your way of working, quote unquote, the farm. But your sales skills are what help you close on these people, right?
Yeah, there's an elementary school in that subdivision. My kids went there. I coached Little League on the right there for 8 or 10 years. So I will throw that out if I need to establish some type of community or some common ground. I know you're not going to sell. That's okay. But gosh, who better to promote Scottsdale Ranch than you, Neil? Because you've lived here 8 years. Here's some information on the house I have for sale. Thank you very much. Have a great day. They still get a thank you note, even if it's, and it's very rare that somebody really shuts the door. You ever run into a no solicitation sign, Neil? May I share with you a great story on a no solicitation?
Please.
Okay, so I have gone to people in that ranch, that's community, no solicitation. I always knock on the door first, and then I ring it, right? Because neighbors knock, right? Then I ring a doorbell, right? And if they really tell me, look, I can't believe you knocked on my door. Can't you read? It's no solicitation. I'll say, I'm sorry. I never met you. I just thought you might be interested in a house have for sale. Sorry to bother you. Have a good day. They'll still get a thank you note, but I make notes and I don't go back to that door. Or if it's a real estate agent, they get mad at me. It's awesome. Because I'm knocking on their neighbor's door and they won't. I don't knock on their doors. So knock on this door. Big guy, 6'4", on a doorstep, very intimidating, looks at me and goes, can't you read? Here, you can take this from me. It popped into my head. He also had a welcome mat. And I said, yes, sir, I can. But I also see that you're welcoming me to the house. So I figured I'd ring the doorbell just to break the tie. And that's what he did. He went from this to, all right, what do you got? Turns out, Doug is He's a white collar crime attorney. He took down Charlie Keating in the Keating Five in the
Sure.
big the big crash
Sure.
we had out here. He took him
Uh-huh.
down. But before that, Neil,
Wasn't he Lincoln Savings and Loan?
yes, Lincoln he took him down. He was part of the group that took him down.
Go,
But before that,
figure the stuff I know.
Doug he prosecuted the mafia for 40 years in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and I just sold him a house a couple of months ago.
And you were standing out in front of his house. Weren't you a little afraid?
No,
I'm kidding.
no. But he told me when we're buying this house, because it was a multiple bid, Don, what do I have to do to buy this house? I'm nervous as hell. I said, you're nervous? You prosecuted Benny the Blade, right? And he had a great association with the mafia. Every time they were in court against him, they were like, oh, we're going against you again. So he had a respect from the mafioso. But I said, Doug, you're nervous about a house? He goes, this is your lane, not mine. I said, pay $2,000 more than their list price and let's get it. And he goes, that's brilliant. And we got it. So it doesn't always work, but don't be afraid to at least knock on a door, no solicitation. A lot of times, if you take charge, they won't even remember they've got that on their door. And if they do, respect it and say, sorry, I didn't know unless I asked. Thank you very much. So just, I'm here to break the tie.
I loved it. I love it. I love it. So, it's a lot. So what you're doing, this big thing I talk about all the time is to get bigger, you get smaller. Okay. So you're getting smaller you used to work really all over the area. That was your bread and butter.
Yeah.
But now you're a little bit more focused on these 4,000 homes, or even less than that, maybe.
Yeah, we do some mailing and we advertise in their HOA magazine, and again with open houses, I used to do 5 signs because that's enough. This year I went to 10 just to test the HOA to see if they'd catch me. Now I have 15 open house signs out there all over the neighborhood. And as I knock on doors, people are now saying, I know who you are. Your signs are everywhere. So
and your signs are not just open house, but they're open house with your name on
every one of them has my name.
Company name, right?
Everyone, yeah, it's Don Aldrich. So again, I know they're seeing the open house signs. They're not all driving by a couple of listings I have, but we're building brand awareness so that when one of those 80 people that are going to sell this year and they're going to hire one of 80 agents, that I'm going to be tip of tongue. That's what we're building. And so by December 2026, one of my newer affirmations is by December 2026, I have 20% market share in Scottsdale Ranch. Yes. Why not me?
Mindset. So that would be you on average, how many deals close in that 4,000?
Every year. Well, we're talking just the single family homes because I don't knock on the condos or the townhouses. 105 to 120, basically 10 a month, year round, sell in that subdivision. So why not go get 20 of those instead of 5?
Right. Really smart. You're doing a terrific job with it, and you're keeping it pretty focused.
It's pretty focused. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it hasn't paid off in droves yet, right? I've only been really hyper focused on this for maybe 3-4 months, but now I know this is my niche. Nobody else is doing this. It's a great price range. There's turnover. Why not be the guy that they know? And at least I'm getting into the door. Because the financial return is tremendous. I've been playing with it for 20 years. This year, Neil, I've been working it. So it is more hyper-focused. I'll still go help your buyer or your seller out in Peoria, right? But every day in the morning, I'm knocking those doors. I'm going to that's my gym, right?
I think that's great. Fantastic. Questions for Don right now.
So Don, I've known you for many, many years.
Great mustache.
Well, I'm still practicing. How did you stay so focused on making these calls? Been doing it a long time. How come you're so focused on this?
You mean on knocking doors or making the calls years ago?
Right now, why are you
Um,
still doing this?
well, because I need to.
Okay.
Full transparency is back in the crash, I bought homes I shouldn't have been allowed to buy. Nobody's fault but me. And guess what? When the tide went out, Tom, so did my bathing suit. And I got hammered.
Okay.
I lost everything. Yeah. Almost my marriage. But fortunately that was saved. And guess what? We've had to recover. And 3 years ago we bought a pretty expensive home, and that's my only debt now.
Okay.
So if I were to retire, Tom, it'd be a really short retirement. Um, but I now realize what I've got my fingers in or my toes in with this. My gosh, and this is going to sound greedy and bad. I can bring 39 years of experience to the table because I've been through, like you have.
Yes.
I personally have experienced short sales and foreclosures. I've lost homes. It wasn't fun. I'm not going back there. I have the t-shirt and I threw it away, right? But I can bring that experience. And now with prices gone up so much, there is so much. First of all, there's people I can help. I can bring that experience, right? Like Sully landing the plane in the water. Experience mattered to those people. Well, we don't have planes. We don't have geese flying into real estate deals. I mean, we're not flying planes, but we do have geese flying into our real estate agents. But we're still going to land the plane, folks. I can bring that without commission breath, right? And the prices are so up now. There's a lot of money to be made for my family. So that's I'm okay with that. I'm 67. I just met with a financial planner last night. I said, no, I'm not retiring at 70. Why? I'm having more fun. I'm still working hard, but now I'm really working on something versus just in it like I was for so many years, right? And gosh, I want to have choices by the time I'm, maybe 72. But geez, you don't need my knees are shot from being a tennis pro 50 years ago, but I can still sell real estate. I can walk and knock and talk and call. So um, that's my legacy to my family and maybe to people I might end up coaching someday. There's a lot of income to be made in the next 5 or 6 years, and there's a lot of people I can serve and help. That's a long answer to a short question. Sorry.
No, it's beautiful, Don. It really is. And so many of us are in different places. There's a lot of people on this that are new into real estate. And there's a lot of people that have been here for 20, 30 years. And there's people that have been here, as long as I've been here. Which is a long time, Don. You're a kid compared to me.
Oh, we love you. And
You,
whether you're new or not, the whole goal here, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't find coaching, right? So
well,
it really,
it's coaching, and it's what strikes me. I'll get the few people that are got their hands up in just a second, but it strikes me that you get this. You started when houses were $100,000, $110,000, and there was a $6,000 check total in a $6,000 in a $100,000 deal. That was it. $6,000. Today, $6,000. I mean, what are we on a $1 million property? Even at lower percentages, you still got somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 that's going to be on the table. That's going to get split. Okay.
yep.
Okay. Now the cost of living's a little bit higher today, but that's still real money. Okay. So we have an opportunity to switch our hat a little bit and get in there and get this done. I think it's pretty awesome. Please, you can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I don't want to screw it up. You have to unmute yourself.
Last name is Haig. Is that it?
Yes, Haig. First name is Sochi. I have a question for you.
Sochi, would you have known that, Don?
What's that?
Sochi, would you have known that?
No, I
Yeah.
got Haig. I got Haig,
Yeah.
but not Sochi. Great name.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a question. With the door knocking,
Mhm.
if you see a sign by another agent, do you door knock that street or do you avoid it?
Oh,
Street?
I don't avoid a street. If there's a
Not a
sign,
street.
I will go to the sign. And what I've learned again over the years, I'm standing out front, and maybe I haven't seen this home, so I'll do do do. Hi, and I typically a voicemail. Hi, Sochi. This is Don Aldrich. I'm standing outside your house on 123 Cherry Street. I'm gonna go up and knock on the door to see if I can preview it. And I'll go up and do that. And now on that person, Sochi, I don't say, "Hey, I'm Don Aldrich. I got a home for sale." Right? I just say, I am out knocking on doors, promoting listings I have for sale. I don't know about your house. In case I have a buyer, I know it catching you by surprise. Can I walk through it quickly? Right? And sometimes no, you have to call my agent. Okay, cool. And I'll do that like the next day because I'm in the neighborhood anyway. Right? Neil, let's just say this, Sochi, because I had a conversation with the owner and it didn't step on anybody's toes. I have received calls back from them saying, I haven't heard from my agent in 3 weeks. We've been listed 5 months. Could you help? And
Wow.
I've sold those homes. Again, TCP compliant and all that. So
Right.
yes, I will knock on the door. And there aren't too many buy owners in there. There aren't many at all, but I would certainly knock on their door. You
Okay,
bet.
great.
Yep.
Great question, Sochi. Thank you.
Because
Hey,
then you can go to the next door and you can say, hey, I just went through Sochi's home. Now, it's, 4 bedrooms with a pool and it's on the market at 1.3. This is your chance to pick a neighbor.
Yeah.
Her agents knocked on your door. You probably already know this, right? And they go, no, I didn't know that. Thank you. So, anyway,
Perfect.
have fun with
awesome.
it.
Good job. Loopy, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just gonna ask Don, how did you find your niche?
Let's see. Just listed and just sold calls, expireds, buy owners, canceled, previews. Just how I found that niche. Well, I've always door knocked, Neil. I didn't say that. I door knocked back when I first got into the business because I was told to go door knock. I saw Tommy Hopkins. That's what he told us to do. So I've always door knocked, but I'm a lot better at it now and more comfortable than I was back then. So this particular niche, and going back to the buy owners, Neil, I always liked buy owners more than I liked expires and cancels. It's just, and if you like
Because
expires and cancels better than physical, it's
what
good.
was it
Good for you.
about them for you?
Yeah, do what works for you. But I just discovered that again, nobody dominated this neighborhood. So if you are going to farm, find one that turns over, find one that's not $60,000 for sales price, and find one that Mary Lou Bick doesn't have 27% market share. But it's going to take a
Thank
while.
you.
It's not.
Yeah.
You can't knock doors. Every once in a while, like in the springtime, I'll see 2 young ladies or I'll see a guy. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm knocking doors. Well, so are we. Oh, and we're giving out flowers. Oh, well, good for you, ladies. It's like, yeah. I know I won't see you in another week, and I certainly won't see you in the summertime. So again, consistency, time over task. Pick what you want, but you got to stay in it, and you got to give it time. You're not going to, right? We're all going to be an overnight success, right? But it just might take 20 years. But play the long game. It's worth it. Right, Tom?
That's what it is. Stick to it.
That's right.
Did that
So
answer your question?
It took a while
Yeah,
to
so you
make that
tried
mustache.
everything. Yeah, so you tried everything and then you found what you like and enjoy the most and what was working for you.
Yeah, try
And then
everything.
narrow it to just the one location.
You
Okay.
can't
100%.
you can't do everything. You might want to try everything, but then you got to pick a couple of things that you like doing, right? and they are fun. And I go up to a door now. I'm not nervous at all because I'm not attached. It's okay. I'm going to go to the next one, and they might really like me or they might know me. I get invited in, Neil. I didn't say this. Probably once, at least once a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Come on in out of the heat. Let's talk. Here's a bottle of water. By the 4th
that's
house, I
great.
need to use the bathroom.
Right.
But if they even if I don't need the water, here's the clue. As I would tell anybody in Minnesota, maybe you don't want the hot chocolate, take it because they're offering you a gift. Acknowledge the gift. Even if you don't drink all the coffee or the hot chocolate, take it. And guess what? That takes time, and you're in their house and you're having a conversation. How many people do that? 0.
It's a great thought. Joanna, you had a question or a thought?
Yes. Thank you, Neil. And thank you, Don. My question for you is, besides when you go door knocking, you show them your listing, but what else would you bring them and other door knocking? Because you door knock so often. What else would you bring to them?
Well, remember, it takes me 4 months to go through the whole neighborhood. So I always, when I don't have anything, I have a very nice, it's a door hanger. I don't have it here, but it kind of looks like this. It's 8.5 by 11. Okay. And this one says, know someone who'd like this neighborhood, coming soon. It's got a picture of the house. So if you don't have anything, you could print something. First of all, you got to go see the house so you know it, right? You could probably, I used to do stats. I used to say, in the average dollar per square foot in Scottsdale Ranch is $430, right? Average time on the market is 62 days. Who do you know? So I would give stats out. But now that I always have listings. Sold, just listed, coming soon. I haven't done a stats in a long time, but I have the stats with me for that week. So if somebody might say, Joanna, well, there's a lot of homes for sale in here right now. And I say, well, actually, Joanna, it may seem like that for you right now, but here's data I just pulled from MLS 2 days ago. There's only 19 homes for sale in Scottsdale Ranch out of 4,000. It just seems like a lot for you because 3 of them are on your street. Oh, and by the way, 15 of those are in escrow. The current list price of those that are in escrow is 1.1. And look at this. 60 homes have closed in here in the last 6 months. And the average price was $1.3 million. And the average square foot was 2,400 square feet. What do you have? Right? So I'm showing them, I know this market, right? Well, my neighbor got 1.8. Really? Well, let's see the address. Actually, they got 1.5. Sorry. So you better know the neighborhood better than they do, right? And you can just go out and preview one home and run some neighborhood stats. And this door hanger, by the way, is on really high-end product, and it will easily attach to anything, right? My title company does it because I give them a lot of business, so they print it for me. It's really nice. But there have been days where I've been caught without the door hanger, and I've done a really just 8.5 by 11 paper, right? And then you just got to scrunch it up and put it in the door, right?
So from
you could door knock with a business card, right?
So let's talk about that for just a second, Don. From a consistency standpoint, a lot of times if I don't have a flyer, I won't go. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because that's not okay, correct?
Correct. You want to have something to give them, because when they open the door, if Neil's at the door, he opens the door and he says, hello, first thing I do is this. And he reflexively, 99% of the time, they take it, right? Even sometimes they tried to hand it back to me, but I've already written their name. Hi, Neil. I said, keep it, because I don't, I got more. So you always want to have something. So I've been caught short before, but now, and again, don't do this. Don't go to your title company and ask for 1,000 door hangers, and then you give out 20 and you give them up. That sucks. That's not fair, right? Maybe just order 100. right? And get rid of all 100. But maybe on the fourth day when you know if you're a little shy, place the other order. You have to know the printing time and the downtime. So you have to stay ahead of it so you don't get caught. I don't get caught anymore. But you just, again, don't do that to your title company. Or just get a little bit first. Prove to me that you can lift the 20-pound weight. Then, I get 500 at a time because I know I'm going to get rid of them, right? But sometimes, Neil, in fairness, the ones I have either get listed or sold, and I get new ones. So I'm going to give the old ones out, but I'm not going to give them all out because I've got new product to display, right? The market's changed. So yeah, don't be over ambitious, but you got to always have something. But if you get caught short, you could do something in a minute, right? Don't wait for it to be perfect before you do it. Just go do it. I always wear a name badge. I got a KW shirt. Sorry, it's not Century 21.
It's okay. We still have time.
I wear a hat. Oh, here's another thing. Now, I wear a baseball hat because skin cancer, right? And I always have a name badge, so I'm like a walking billboard. And I still get people that go, "Who are you?" It's like, look, I'm Keller Williams 3 times. Can't you? But I have had people, Tom, answer the door. They see you, right? They open the door and they go, "Oh, I thought you were UPS. I thought you were Amazon. I thought you were." Why? All those companies, they wear a baseball hat, right? And I don't wear, Boston Red Sox. I wear a Keller Williams hat, right? They answer the door because in the profile, they see a baseball hat. Just a little clue.
So a couple of questions in the chat box. Josie asked, who do you send the notes to? Everyone you talk to?
Everybody.
If you've talked to somebody, you're going to send a note.
Yep. And they get one business. Again, it's a really, really high end that my title company makes. They get a business card, and then I will cut out, a slick and put that in there as well. So an ad, an ad or something I've sold. So they get a business card.
Is a letter size letter,
Yeah.
or is it a card size letter?
It's a card size.
Got it. Okay.
It's a card size. The fold. I don't even know the size. But again, and I write with a Sharpie because you can write bigger, right? Hi, Neil. Thanks for answering. Even if he shut the door on me, he was on the phone. People will pretend to be on the phone. Sometimes they are. But even if it's not a great conversation, but he answered the door, here's what I say. Hi, Neil. Thanks for speaking with me at your front door last week. Pleasure to meet you. When you hear of a neighbor, here's what I've changed recently. When you hear of, not someone, when you hear of a friend or a neighbor that has a real estate need, please let me know how I may be of service to them. Now, on that thank you note, boilerplate, it does say selling homes for 39 years valley-wide, selling Scottsdale Ranch. And at the bottom, it says all the best, Don Aldrich, so I don't have to sign it. Just trying to, scale it to some point. But I do, if you write it with a Sharpie note, you don't have to write as much, and you can write, block letters. But when's the last time, Neil, you got a handwritten thank you note from anybody?
I might get 2 a year, maybe. And they're usually from people like yourself that do an interview like this.
Yeah, it's not AM cards. We've all gotten those, the send out cards. It's a real handwritten card, and it is tedious. Sometimes I'm up late doing it. I got to get my wife and daughter to help me because now this is blowing up. But it's part of brand awareness, and it's boring, right? But guess what? Not everything in real estate is, rainbows and unicorns. Got to do the grind, right? That's part that I just thought of that. That's part of, I can't cheat the grind. I got to get the thank you notes out. Even if they're a week late, they got to go out somehow.
Good stuff. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, Jeanette, you had something you wanted to ask?
Yes, hi. Thank you. Thank you, Neil. And thank you, Don. This is great. Um, I am captivated by whoever that is on the wall. Is that Albert Schweitzer next to you?
No, that's Albert Einstein.
Albert
I'm sorry, I
Einstein.
meant Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
And how does he inspire you?
I've had that for a long time. You know what it says? I mean, I know it by heart. It says, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds.
Wow.
Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. That can apply
That's
to door knocking. That can apply to a FISBO, right?
absolutely.
Be the great spirit. Don't be knocked down by a mediocre mind.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Great question.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, Don, one last thing that you'd mentioned, I want to make sure we get this point across. Because of the work you did with the for sale by owners and the door knocking and the time in the business, as you get further on, you're really not afraid of talking to anybody at the door, are you?
No. And guess what? I will trip going up. I mean, I've fallen because I'm looking at my notes. I've tripped over the curb. I've done dumb stuff. And there have been times where I said the wrong thing. I tried to be funny, or it's like, oh boy, that crashed. And then guess what? You make a note of it, apologize, and go to the next door, and don't repeat that, right? But
That's great.
it's so crucial when that first 8 seconds when they open the door, you gotta know, good morning. Hey, I'm Don Aldrich. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate. Just wanted to let you know about a house that sold down the street. You got to be engaging in that first 5 or 8 seconds, because if you stumble, or if more than likely, thanks a lot, have a good day, right?
All right, everybody. Don, this has been fabulous. No question about it. Unmute yourselves, please. Let's give them a big hand. All right.
Let's go down.
Good
Thank
job.
you. You guys have been great.
Good job. So, Don, we're going to go around the room right now and ask what people learned. You're welcome to stay, or if you have a hard stop, you're looking for a reason not to work out in the heat right now, you're welcome to hang around.
Sure.
We love it. It's good to have you. It's
Yeah,
been great
thank you.
catching
No,
up.
I'll hang out if you'll have me. Sure, why
All
not?
right, absolutely.
Great opportunity.
All right, so what did we learn today from Don? What did you learn?
Be
Who wants to
consistent.
start?
Consistency.
Miguel Terrazas, go ahead.
Well, Don, I took some notes and I heard this somewhere else, but it's common sense, with all due respect, but it's not common practice. And you nailed it because you keep it so simple. And I've also heard analysis paralysis, because it's so simple that people say that there's no way that can work. But you chunked it down and made it simple and we can digest it. And then another thing I got was, don't quit, regardless of the circumstances. There's no quit. So I commend you for that. And thank you for sharing your personal side, because that just resonates, I'm sure, to many on the screen. So thank you. And go with what you have. If you don't have that specific door hanger, go with what you have and get it done. So thank you.
Exactly. Good. Excellent. Thanks, Miguel. Thomas, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I was calling just to say thanks for inspiring us. Glad to see you back, brother.
Right back at you. Thanks.
All right. Who else wants to share what they learned today? Let's go. Raise your hands, speak up. Go, go, go.
The money is in the follow-up, and you cannot cheat the grind.
Two great thoughts, huh?
Here's a better one. The fortune is in the follow-up.
We should do t-shirts. You can't cheat the grind.
It's okay to door knock listed
okay,
properties.
just who had their hand up just a minute ago? I saw somebody.
It's okay to knock on listed properties instead of excusing it and ignoring it.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. It was very interesting. I forgot who mentioned, would you door knock a street that had a listing? I find that fascinating, because my head would never go to that place. but I'll bet you a lot of people stop themselves from opportunities that to me are obvious. I don't care if they have the listing on the street. I don't even care if they have a listing. Okay, but that's a different story. But I can't imagine being stopped by that. And I want all of you to just open your thought process. Here's an interesting idea. If you think something like that should stop you, please do me a favor and call me. Okay? Please, I promise I won't get you in trouble, but I'll expand your mind a little bit. Okay? All right, what else did we learn today?
Hi, Neil. It's Vanessa.
Hey,
So
Vanessa.
I mean, he's amazing. I'm a big door knocker, so I love him. He's amazing. Consistency, be disciplined, and be an agent that takes action. If it's door knocking, make sure you do all your contacts that you promise and get it done right.
100%. Absolutely. I picked up a phrase last week. Be first, be first, be fast. Be first, be fast. Be first, be fast. I thought it was a great thought. Think about it. And they made t-shirts for that one. Good stuff. All right, what else? What else we learned today? Johnny, what'd you learn? You're all over the place here.
Hey, no, I learned just from Don, just don't give up, keep on going, and, it's not going to be an overnight success. So practice what you're good at, and keep on following up with it. Persistence.
Very smart. A lot of smart words from a young man. Good stuff, Johnny. Thank you. All right. Everyone unmute yourselves. Let's thank Don. Don,
Thank you,
buddy,
Don. Thank you, Don.
appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Don. Thank you,
Woo! All right.
My pleasure.
Good
All
luck
right.
to Century 21,
Thank
Don.
you, Don.
All right,
Thanks,
buddy
guys.
boy. Let's see. We have Miguel. I think you're up, right? Miguel. Hey, Don, did you find that video?
Yeah.
Don Aldrich, did you find the video we talked about earlier?
I can.
Yeah, why don't you see if you can find it and then call me back. I'd like to go over that with you for a couple minutes.
That'd be honest. And that'd be awesome. When would you like me to call you back?
Like as soon as you find it.
Oh, aren't you on this call?
What?
Aren't you on this call still?
Yeah. Well, we can't do it here. What we
Right.
can, I guess, but yes, I'm here. I'm not leaving.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Thank you
But
all.
yeah, let me know when you find it.
Got it. Thanks.
right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Miguel, where are you? There you are. Miguel, call people. And Johnny, you had asked a question. I don't know if you got the answer. Johnny, where are you? But yes, he door knocks in summer, if you didn't hear that. Good stuff. Charles Sparks, tell me all the good stuff that's going on in your world.
Oh, geez. You saw me hop on.
I like your smiling face.
All good stuff. Just working on the prospecting.
Good stuff. You got everything turned around from where you were 6 months ago?
Yeah, I think so. It feels pretty good. Of course, now going into the end of the year, I got to ramp it back up.
Why did you ramp it down?
I don't know if I ramped it. I think getting like 20 listings all at once messed with the daily goals.
It's called complacency.
Yeah, I know.
Good for you. Good job. All right, reach out to me. Tell me what you're up to. Text me and we'll set something up.
Sounds good. We'll do it.
Tess, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was in a call, that's why. Hey,
Oh, these are your notes?
yeah, I just want to share that with you.
Thank you. This is cool.
Uh-huh.
How did you do you make the note and then that's really interesting.
No, it wasn't me. It was
I
shared by my mastermind group.
Well, that's really cool. I'm going to read through it in a little bit. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's rock and roll, Miguel, baby.
Okay, I'm doing